Another earthquake hits the Philippines. Sirens wail, buildings sway, crowds spill into the streets, and within minutes, phones light up with the same urgent question: why does this keep happening here? The truth is geological, not mythical. The archipelago sits in a squeeze zone where multiple tectonic plates collide, twist and dive, loading the crust with energy until it releases violently as shaking, landslides and offshore tsunamis that can arrive in minutes. This is the Pacific Ring of Fire, the most seismically active belt on Earth, and the Philippines is caught between the Philippine Sea Plate pushing from the east and the Sunda and Eurasian plates from the west and north, with the mobile belt fractured by long, living faults. To the west, the Manila Trench lurks off Luzon, a subduction zone capable of powerful earthquakes and fast-arriving tsunamis along western coasts. Modeling and recent assessments warn that very large events are possible, with wave heights that can inundate coastal communities swiftly. To the east, the Philippine Trench and East Luzon Trough absorb relentless convergence, generating deep and shallow earthquakes that can shake Davao to Samar and trigger tsunami scenarios with dangerous heights. Farther south, the Cotabato and Sulu trenches edge Mindanao, where history records deadly tsunamis and ground failure. This is why coastal evacuation drills and vertical awareness near shorelines matter after strong, long shaking. But the most underestimated danger cuts right through the Visayas, the Negros system, a smaller western trench combined with active inland thrusts that has already proven it can kill. At 11:49 a.m. on February 6, 2012, a magnitude to 6.7 to 6.9 earthquake struck near Negros Oriental. Buildings collapsed, roads cracked, landslides overwhelmed communities, and at least 50 lives were lost as power and communications failed across parts of Negros and Cebu. Detailed seismotectonic work points to a reverse fault structure now called the Negros Oriental Thrust, a compressional system in the Tanyon Strait that can transmit damaging shaking across multiple islands at once because it sits so close to population centers. Think about the map. Cebu City's high-rises and dense urban districts, Dumaguete and Bacolod's coastal plains, and Bohol's landslide-prone hills all sit within the impact footprint of this fault architecture. When an inland thrust ruptures, the problem isn't just tsunamis. It's direct ground shaking, liquefaction, slope failure, and cascading infrastructure outages. Hazard scenarios show that magnitude 7 class events in this corridor can produce long-duration shaking, sufficient to compromise older buildings and non-ductile structures. With simultaneous impacts across Cebu, Negros, and Bohol that strain emergency response. Luzon has the West Valley Fault to fear, but the central Philippines carries a quieter, equally serious risk that receives less attention and investment than Manila-focused preparedness. Why so many earthquakes? Because the plates never stop moving. Centimeters per year of relentless convergence add up over decades, then fail in seconds. Release reduces stress locally, but the machine keeps running along locked patches and segmented faults. Great subduction earthquakes offshore produce tsunamis. Inland thrusts and strikes along the Philippine fault system deliver intense near-field shaking and surface hazards where people live and work. No agency can predict the hour, but PHIVOLCS and partners outline the sources clearly and urge readiness tailored to coastal and inland threats. What to do now in Manila, Mindanao, and the Visayas? First, know the nearest sources. Manila faces the Manila Trench offshore and inland active faults. Mindanao faces Cotabato and Sulu trenches plus crustal faults. Cebu, Negros, Bohol face the Negros thrust system and site-specific landslide and liquefaction zones. Second plan, secure heavy furnishings, brace water tanks, identify drop cover hold areas, store water, food, lights, and first aid, and practice family check-ins and reunification. Third, evacuate smart. After strong, long shaking near the coast, move to high ground immediately. Tsunami arrival in local sources can be on the order of minutes, not hours. For builders and officials, the checklist is clear. Enforce seismic design, retrofit brittle structures, harden lifelines, map landslide and liquefaction susceptibility, and drill regularly, especially in Cebu, Bohol, and Negros, where simultaneous island impacts are plausible. Tourism economies in Bohol and Negros require continuity planning, backup power, and rapid damage assessment protocols that factor bridge and port vulnerabilities after a major thrust event. The goal isn't fear, it's foresight. Understanding which trench or fault threatens which region is the difference between chaos and a survivable disaster. When an earthquake begins, there are no do-overs, only the habits already practiced and the plans already made. Know the nearest threats: fast local tsunamis from the Manila Trench and severe inland shaking along the Negros Fault, impacting Cebu, Bohol, and Negros. Build the reflex now. Drop cover, hold on. And if the shaking is strong and long near the coast, evacuate to high ground immediately. Share this with family, neighbors, and the barangay, and run a quick drill this week. Prepared communities save lives. This is Bayantube, where complex risks become clear steps that protect lives and livelihoods. If this helped, please like the video, subscribe to Bayantube, and tap the bell so critical explainers reach the community when it matters most. Comment your city. Cebu, Bohol, Negros, Manila, Davao, and Bayantube will tailor risk maps and checklists in upcoming videos.